Lieutenant Chrisman, South Burlington Fire Department. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our standpipe system that we employ here in South Burlington. This is a kit designed to give us anywhere between 75 and 225 feet of length. You'll notice as we go through this, there are 3 separate bundles. Each one is 75 foot in length, giving us the ability to adapt for those short, quick outside the stairwell fire or long for down the hallway type fire. I got to give credit to Steve Pettit, Lieutenant Pettit out of Burlington Fire Department. This was a conversation that he and I had. He brought forth the majority of the ideas for this, and I simply borrowed that information with his permission. We adapted it to make it work here in South Burlington the way that we wanted it, the way that it works best for us, and this is our final product. All right, so we'll talk now about packing of the bundles and assembling of the entire standpipe kit. You'll notice what we have laid out here in front of us. We've got one bundle that's already pre-assembled. This happens to be our 3rd length, but you'll notice that in order to put this entire kit together, you'll need 6 of these black straps here. They are about 3 foot long, fully extended. You'll need 6 of those black straps. You'll need 2 of the orange straps. You've got your nozzle here, and then we have 3 75-foot lengths of 1 3/4 hose. The reason that this system was put together using this particular hose, this is that Kraken XO hose from Mercedes, is the reduced friction loss associated with this hose, so it works with 1 3/4 for us. But you'll notice we've got the 3 lengths of it laid out, giving us that 75, 150, or 225-foot lengths. So to begin with packing of the system, to pack these bundles, and remember we have 3 identical bundles, one of them just happens to have the nozzle connected to it, and 2 of them get bundled together. To start the system, to start the process of packing these bundles, it's a whole lot easier if you start with the hose fully stretched right out for simplicity's sake, which was one of the driving factors of this system, was to make it stupid simple for packing and stupid simple for deployment. So if we stretch the hose completely out straight as a starting point, we can put one person here at the couplings. Whoever the person is that's facing these couplings needs to remember the male is always right. If we remember that the male coupling, when you're sitting here facing the couplings, is always on the right-hand side, when we assemble these bundles together, it lines up couplings so that when you need to add that 3rd length of hose, you've got a male and a female coupling right there side by side. So if you remember to always pack them the same way, male is always right. So now what we're going to have is Alexis is going to start by folding the 75-foot length in half. And that is the beauty of this system, is that if you just remember, it's fold in half, fold in half, fold in half. So we put the female coupling to the left, the male coupling to the right, stagger them by about 6-8 inches, enough for the essentially the nozzle to be absorbed. You'll also notice when you do that, you have your 2 green marks line up, and the turn should land right in the middle of the blue paint. So we fold it in half once, we'll fold it in half again. This particular blue fold, you're going to line it up with the female coupling. Should line up just about right in line with it. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but gives you a good reference point. Now we just clean it up. We make sure that everything's stacked on top of itself. We'll fold it in half again. The green ones we can stage back just a little bit so that when you deploy this, when you've hit the landing, it's 2 a.m. and you're trying to remember what you're doing, you can see that you've got 2 greens, 1 blue. 2 greens, 1 blue. We'll fold it in half one more time. This gives us a bundle that's roughly 5 foot in length, somewhere right around there. We'll then take 2 of these black straps. We'll put the black straps around to hold this one bundle together. We can also put the nozzle on this one once we've got it strapped together. if you're paying attention to detail, right, we can put the straps so that they're facing the same direction so that you tighten them from the same direction. Remember, it's just little details like that that go a long way in the long run. So you couple it together, pull your straps nice and tight, right? That helps hold it together while it's riding around in the truck. I'm going to start by just tipping it up, get the nozzle put on this one. And now we'll fold our second one. So we've got the two individual bundles put together now. We're going to line these up. You know, we talked about during the deployment, you reverse spine it, so we're essentially closing the book. We line them up so bottom to bottom. That puts these couplings in position so you can make the connection right here on top. You make that connection, get everything squeezed together. And now your orange straps go around. And the orange straps hold the whole kit together. Now you have your 150-foot kit. Oop. The nice thing with the 150 foot, with it being two individual bundles stuck together, you know, individually wrapped, is it stays together nicely on the shoulder as a single person carry. Helps hold everything together. So we'll talk to you now about deployment of this system. As I mentioned, you know, in the introduction, 3 separate sections. So you'll have these two coupled together, so you got 150 feet to start off the bat for your initial operation. The key to deploying this kit and the way that it's put together, as long as it's assembled correctly, when you hit your landing, you hit your objective, you know, remember this could be deployed outside, it doesn't have to be a landing, but you know, when you hit your landing, if you can just remember in your head, buckles up. So when it drops on the floor, you take a look at these two orange straps, the buckles are up, they're facing up. So when it hits the floor, buckles up. At this point, we release these outer buckles. You don't have to move them out of the way. You can if you want to. Sometimes it helps, you know, keeping things clean. We're gonna now reverse spine the book. So we split it so the bottom's out. We reverse the spine, we flip it down like that. And you'll notice, buckles up. So as long as it's built correctly, right, we started with buckles up, we open the book, reverse the book spine, and the buckles are now up. So it's buckles up to buckles up. At this point, if we were going to use this third section of hose, we're in a position where we can now make this coupling. So we can hook this together if this is, you know, if we were using that extra length, we then make this connection here and we can do that extra length. For the sake of the rest of this deployment, we'll leave this one off. This gets deployed the same way these two do. So there's nothing new to know about that. It's just add this extra piece if you need this third one here for your deployment methods. One thing that little bit of information we've sort of gathered as we've done a few of these deployments that I have found that helps. When you hit the landing, oftentimes if you put your nozzle facing towards the stairs, it'll just help you with deploying, you know, from there out. It's not always tried and true. You kind of have to read the landing to know exactly where the best place is, but it's one of those things that sometimes it helps. So we set the bundle down, the overall bigger bundle, right? Buckles up. Those were the 2 orange straps. We undid those. We reversed the spine. We're now back to, you know, we have our two bundles here, and we're back to buckles up, right? So buckles up to buckles up. Just try to remember, buckles up to buckles up. That'll put you where you need to be. At this point, you can decide if you want to deploy both of them in the stairwell, or you can deploy one and take the other one with you. For this initial demonstration, we're going to deploy both of them like we were in the stairwell and we were deploying both of them. So we undo our buckles, and at this point we decide if we want to do a short deployment or a long deployment. If it's short deployment, remember we're taking the 2 green loops. That's about 17¼ feet. So usually from experience, that's essentially a flight of stairs and maybe a turn onto the landing at a half landing, but not terribly far. If you're doing long deployment, that was 37½ feet. So you're essentially up to the floor above wherever you're operating. So Alexis is going to show us the short deployment on this particular length.
You want us to come over here?
Yep. It helps to flip it just like she did there. Right? She stretches that line out, cleans it up, comes back, and we're ready to deploy this one. For this one, we're going to undo our buckles and we're going to do the long deployment. So we take that single blue. Alexis has gone down our simulated hallway here, stretched it out. She'll come back. We're ready to charge the system. We can now take the nozzle and go back to where our target apartment is. So again, that was short deployment on the first one. We'll simulate that one went up the stairs. Long deployment on the second one, going down the hallway towards where the apartment is. All right, in the first deployment video, we showed you how to do the simple basics, right? The very, very basic of how to deploy a short deployment and a long deployment. Remember, that can happen in the stairs, that can happen in the hallway. I'm going to show you an alternative method now. Alexis is going to come out. She's going to make her way to the landing where we're going to simulate that we have our door to our hallway right here, and we have our stairwell going this way. So Alexis sets the pack down, right? Buckles up. Remember, buckles up. Orange straps come off. We reverse spine the pack. So open it up with those bottoms down. Right, now we're going to take the pack that's going to go to our standpipe connection. We're going to undo those buckles, and she's going to give us a short deployment up the stairs. Right, simple deployment. We're ready to go. Looks like we've got a quick little twist here. We addressed that on the way down the stairs. And now Alexis is going to come back, and we have an option here. We could deploy, but we're not going to. Our doorway's right here. We've got a clear hallway to work in. So Alexis is simply going to grab that bundle, leave it strapped together, and drag it through the doorway. She's now in the hallway, ready to make this deployment in a hallway setting where we're going to be able to go a nice long deployment. We know that, so she's going to undo the buckles. And at this point, she's going to grab the blue loop and the nozzle together. And if you take both of them, you're going to see as this deploys out, and she goes, that initial half of that bundle deploys and the other part of it sort of starts unraveling behind, but she's got a nice Z pattern already in the hallway, ready to go. She's made it to her objective. She's taken a knee, masking up. At this point, the person who has made the standpipe connection, right, they've gone down, they've made that connection. We've simulated that. They've charged the line because Alexis called and said she was ready for it. As they come back up the stairs, they can actually grab right where this blue paint is and take it down the hallway with them, right? As I make my way, I'm going to go as far as I can until that connection catches. I drop it, and I go catch up with my firefighter. But now I've brought more hose into the hallway, where we have a nice Z pattern, we're not fighting anything. Just another option, another way of deploying it.